There's so many obstacles in business, and they never end.
And just for your information, since we started in 2012, we've never taken a cent of profit from the business.
Yeah. Yeah. My name is Hadino Nishekwa. I'm a co-founder of Ubuntu events. We started off in 2012 when we were varsity students. I have a qualifications in chemistry and geology, but however, I sort of do two separate things at a time, because between chemistry and what we do at Ubuntu is totally different.
My name is John Hausiku. I'm a co-founder of Ubuntu Events Technology. By training, I'm in marketing and comms, but my role at the business is really to give Hadino, who is in charge of operations, strategic support, as well as brand positioning and so forth. Ubuntu Events Technology is a events production company that's operating in Namibia with its base in Windhoek. We, however, do service clients across the country, particularly in the south, the western coast, and also the northern region. We are passionate about bringing ideas to life, and as owners and employees at the same time of the business, we can say our business is different in the sense that we work with our employees, but at the same time also have to make sure that the business is viable.
Okay, so Ubuntu events started off in the year 2012. As I mentioned, we were varsity students back in the day. So to make ends meet, we used to provide speakers for services such as weddings and birthday parties. Eventually, as luck would maybe call it, or fate, we had a potential client in the crowd that called us for a conference setting event. So from there, we saw the market gap in the industry and we embarked upon it.
So we joined Nedbank, I would say late last year, early this year, really. And what attracted us to Nedbank was really their willingness to give an ear to a upcoming SME. Our other banking institutions that we were operating with have in the past been a bit reluctant to offer any kind of facilities without the option of having some kind of guarantee. So when we heard that Nedbank is able to finance SMEs with relaxing some of the terms of accessing such loans, we were immediately attracted to that option, and we were assigned, I'm not sure what to call him, whether he's a loan administrator or a salesperson, but Mr. Kandenge was very helpful in trying to explain to us how the bank thinks about giving facilities and operating that kind of risk, and explain to us the kind of processes and documents we needed to prepare so that we can access those facilities. And the profound impact that this will have on our company, because we just got the loan like 2 months ago. So it's really too early to say how it has transformed. But what we can say is what we anticipate is with the facility we got from Nedbank, we're in a much stronger position to compete against our competitors, many of whom are our suppliers, but competitors at the same time. So they undercut us a lot of the time in terms of quoting, in terms of access to equipment. So now with the facility from Nedbank, we'll be able to get our own equipment. This means we can actually negotiate better terms for our clients. We can give discounts, we can enter contracts. All of these were options that before the loan, before our own equipment, we couldn't really access those opportunities because half of the equipment was being sourced from competitors.
Yeah, I think when you start out as an entrepreneur, I think the end goal as a youngster back in the day was to make loads of money. We envisioned driving fancy cars, big houses.
By now,
yeah. But there's another story to it. But however, I think the most rewarding one is being able to change lives. We currently have 8 employees, and from time to time, a bunch of them would come and say, thank you for giving us this opportunity to have a better livelihood than we would, because what we normally would do is because there isn't any skill facilities that train technicians in these areas in Namibia, we normally take on guys with good attitudes, good work ethics, and then we give them an opportunity to come and work with us. And then we also try to remunerate them as high as possible, as fair as possible. So I think that thank you, that sense of appreciation, is something that you can't put money on.
Yeah. So if I can maybe just add that what Hadino has said already, is just to say, perhaps for me the most rewarding thing has been learning how to work with people, learning how to work with teams who often come from varied backgrounds, very low education. Some of them maybe grade 10 only, some of them grade 12, and they've ended there. But just seeing their transformation by working with them on a daily basis, how their capacity to learn and their will to actually perform at the highest level despite the lack of education. So I think that's probably the most rewarding thing from my side as a co-owner. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll touch on what John said. There's so many obstacles in business, and they never end. You never overcome them. You just become a better person because they teach you a lot of lessons. For example, it's working with people, like he said, managing people, but also one of the challenges is working with money in your business, in terms of how do you handle it, how do you plan for it. So that's been a challenge, but I think there's a lot of resources around the world that can help you with any of those challenges. Yeah.
So one of the big challenges for me is, at least on the strategic side, is clients' perceptions of what we do. Clients think that designing a stage, hanging lights in the ceiling, and running a seamless live streaming is something that happens automatically. They underestimate how much preparation it takes to get that job done on time. They underestimate the amount of resources that are required to pull it off. So making them understand how difficult the job is and how precarious it is to execute it on time. So I think that has been a big challenge, but it's one that we are slowly, through debriefs and continuous communication, are trying to solve to make clients understand the complexity of the job. Well, to be honest with you, to unpack it, before we were basically struggling because we don't have assets. So to do a successful production, you want to own at least 60 to 70% of your own equipment. So imagine you are a farmer and you need to borrow another farmer's truck every time you need to plant your seeds. You have to wait for that farmer to be done with their truck. And in our case, we need to be on standby for our competitors to tell them when their equipment is available. This put us in a big compromising position because we are renting over 70% of our equipment. So with Nedbank's loan, we're now in a position to acquire at least 60% of the equipment that we normally would rent. So that will leave only a deficit of about 30 equipment, which is more manageable. It means better profit retentions. It means better growth for us. It also means that we can pay our employees much better. And it also means that we can actually give better service to our clients because we know where the equipment is.
Yeah, I think I also like the fact that Nedbank, our loan facilitator, Mr. Onesmus Kandenge, is really forthcoming, and he really helps us to make certain decisions that we aren't aware of, and how to work the business as well. So that has been really helpful from Nedbank's side.
I think, as Dino mentioned, he's been quite instrumental in, at least for me, helping us understand how the bank views SMEs, but also how facilities work. Just taking us behind the scenes of how the bank works and making us understand how we need to present ourselves to be bankable. I think that has been an invaluable lesson that we will carry with us as entrepreneurs, not only with this facility, but future opportunities for business growth.
I think what stood out as well with this particular money experts, like John mentioned in the beginning, we've been trying to get loan facilities from different institutions. So what stood out for me was they actually made time to come to our business. We then took them through the business, told them our challenges, what we are looking forward to, so that they understand. Mostly what the challenge that you get here in Namibia is you write a business plan on a black and white sheet, and then you presumably give it to a business analyst who might not or might understand what your business is all about. In most cases, what I thought, many business analysts didn't understand what we were doing. They thought we were party people, but DJs, party DJs, but we're actually catering for the conference world, where people want to do product launches. That's where they come to us. We design the stage and bring their ideas to life. The oil and gas conferences that happen around in Namibia, so those are ones that we facilitate, because only Jesus could speak to 1,000 people without a microphone, but they'd have to come to Ubuntu in the 21st century for that.
The key quality is really to be resilient and to be tenacious in the pursuit of your objective. In our case, we both love that feeling when you have set up an event and the host don't have to worry about what goes wrong and has to focus on the message they want to give their audience. That feeling for us is invaluable, and many people, many organizations, work is stressful, life is stressful, but when there is an office function and that function makes you for a moment remember why you work there, why what you do is important. For us, being shepherds and stewards of such productions is something that gives us immense value. So knowing that what you do and believing in what you do, and then after that remaining consistent, because we have had challenges, we have thought of quitting, and just for your information, since we started in 2012, we've never taken a cent of profit from the business. At some point our parents interrogated us to say, are you sure you should be spending your time and money in this thing? You know, there are other alternatives out there, and it takes a lot of courage to be an entrepreneur. But first, if the passion is right and the discipline and the consistency is there, surely you will be able to accomplish it.
Yeah. So in the modern day world, we have the allure of the soft life that goes around. We hear it from time to time from the young ones. Well, as much as it's alluring, you have to do your work in the beginning. That's unfortunately the case. You can't take the elevator to where you want to go during your business, because you would need to learn a lot of things. You need to be resilient, you need to be forthcoming, you need to learn, and you need to really fail fast. Yeah. Also, one thing that I was briefly mentored. I never had a mentor, unfortunately, but I was briefly mentored that stay foolish. I think they quoted Steve Jobs, but stay foolish and stay hungry. So that needs to keep you going. So the way I see your business calling is quite funny, because during your lifespan, there will be signs or something that lures you towards the business that you are meant to grow. I'm not saying you're attached to one business only, but as a chemist, I love being a scientist. I love being a scientist. Nothing better than that. But when I was 7 years old, 6, 7, my father took me to a Lucky Dube concert here in Windhoek, and I saw the lights and staging. And I think from there, it's been something that's been part of me. So that was already planted. And then to just make ends meet during varsity, I used to DJ for parties. So before it came, I saw that I was doing conferences. So it sort of just builds up on you. You sort of fall into the space without actually noticing it.